This is the State Farm postgame show.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, who won a total of 3 games last season, folks, they are headed now to the AFC Championship game next week against the New England Patriots. And welcome back inside Studio 43 and the State Farm postgame show. Coming up next, the road to the Final Four continues on CBS. It'll feature a Big Ten matchup between Northwestern and Indiana. That game will tip off at 4:40 Eastern Time, and we'll be streaming live on CBSSports.com. Back here inside of Studio 43, a full house with Phil, Coach Nate, and Boomer. Take a look at the AFC playoff picture now. That victory by Jacksonville sends them to New England next week for the AFC Championship game. Boy, check this out. I mean, in 2 games against Pittsburgh Steelers, the Jaguars have scored 75 points total. They average 25 on the season against the rest of the league. After the game, it was Evan Washburn with Blake Bortles.
We saw a run from the Pittsburgh Steelers. Ben Roethlisberger, the future Hall of Famer. How is this offense able to keep coming back and holding them off?
You know, the guys play with confidence all day long. You know, obviously what they have on their side of the ball, you know, it's a good team. We know they got a good offense, so we knew we had to keep scoring, and we were going to have to be efficient, hold on to the ball for a little bit. So we did it. Ben kept making plays at the end, but we were able to find a way, pull it out. It's incredible.
The last 2 weeks, this offense hasn't been able to do something like this. What was the difference today?
You know, I think the last couple of weeks, guys, you know, it's been a lack of execution. You know, we've kind of just been having some mental errors and not really being able to figure things out. And it hasn't been scheme or calls or anything like that. So I think we kind of put it all together today. Guys came out and played their tails off.
You always seem to have a good perspective on this. So what does a performance like this against this opponent and where you're heading next say to some of the doubters about you and this team?
You know, I got no idea. I'm sure there'll still be tons of people, you know, that are going to disapprove or talk negative or hate or do whatever they want. But we get to keep playing, and we get an opportunity to go play, you know, in Foxborough next week for another week. So I'm just honored to be able to do this, and especially with this group of guys. It's been an awesome year. I want to keep it going.
Blake, congratulations. Enjoy it. Say hi to him on the way to Foxborough.
Thanks. I appreciate it. Take care, bro.
Now, that was a very telling comment by Blake Bortles. He heard Dan Fouts during the game, said all the negative talk about him, and Bortles said he blocked it out. There's no way. He's human. It did block him out. But what did you think in the pregame, Phil, when you switched from Pittsburgh to Jacksonville?
What I usually do is put myself in the player's shoes, and I felt like out of the teams that I'm looking at in this matchup, the Steelers and the Jags, that the Jaguars would come out, swing first, and hit the hardest. And with that running game, Blake Bortles taking care of the ball. As we know, they're 9-0, now 10-0 without him turning over the ball. And I felt like this defense was going to show up big. We all have recency bias, but we wanted to quickly forget what happened in the regular season. So I kept thinking about that game. Even though I have a high level of respect for the Steelers, I felt like the Jaguars were a better team, and they went out there and proved that.
Well, you know, I mean, I think we looked at this game. You talked about the Jacksonville defense going against the Pittsburgh offense, but I really think the difference in this game was this Jacksonville offense. Yep. This is what I didn't think that they would be able to show up. You talk about what they were able to do. 5 for 5 in the red zone. Blake Bortles making the plays he needed to make when he needed to make them. You talk about, again, converting third downs, and again, they got into the end zone. Go back to last week. The 4th down pass play, that the confidence they had to go against Buffalo. But you see right here, he made the throws he needed to make. And, you know, and then again with his feet a couple of times, he kept the drives going, extending the drives with his feet. And again, you're talking about a team that they were 8 of 14 on third down. Situational football. Third down, they were 8 of 14. In the red zone, 5 for 5. A big play right here on play action. They weren't afraid. I give a lot of credit to Nathaniel Hackett for calling a game where they came out in the first half throwing the ball on first down.
Yeah, I don't even know where to begin talking about this game. First off, Blake Bortles, as you look at all these numbers they had on offense, but Blake Bortles, I think he just told all the critics today what they can do with their opinion about him. I mean, that performance, it was clutch. He made some big plays. He moved around. You talked about the throws. But Mike Tomlin, he's got a lot to answer for, how he managed the game and decisions he made during this game today.
I'll tell you when this goes back to 11/26 Sunday night on NBC, when Mike Tomlin gave an interview to Tony Dungy. He talked openly about how he expected to play the New England Patriots twice. And even last night, Le'Veon Bell goes out there and makes this crazy tweet. And don't think for a moment that the Jaguars don't use that for fuel for fire. And, Coach, you know, you're a coach. You've been using that stuff. And that's, I go back to last year when Ben Roethlisberger said they got to tighten things up. They didn't tighten things up because when you get to this level, other guys are coming after you. And the Jacksonville Jaguars showed some real heart today.
On any given Sunday, the State Farm postgame show continues after this.
Brady in the gun. Brady takes the snap. Four-man rush. He's pressured. He throws down the middle. A touchdown! You got me like, you got me like, and ooh, with all the things you do.
The 2018 Pro Bowl, where the best meet the next. Get your tickets now.
This is the State Farm postgame show.
And welcome back to Studio 43 and the State Farm postgame show. You know, when you talk about the architects of this Jacksonville Jaguars team, the names that ring loud, Tom Coughlin, Doug Marrone, but I really want to emphasize Coughlin.
You and I have been talking about this for the last 6 weeks. I think Phil has been on this conversation as well. Coughlin took a seriousness back down there. Shad Khan hired the right guy to run the team. They signed some really key free agents. They drafted Leonard Fournette. And don't forget that they actually deactivated Leonard Fournette for a game this year.
That's right.
Because of off-the-field problems. So all that nonsense that was going on down there for years and years and years stopped when Tom Coughlin got there and he hired Doug Marrone. And you see it now. It's paid dividends.
Yeah, and back to Blake Bortles. You know, they were trying to replace him in the offseason, talking about Chad Henne should be their starting quarterback. He lost his captaincy in the offseason as well. And I kept thinking about that Tom Hanks movie, Captain Phillips, and Blake Bortles staring at all the fans saying, I'm your captain. I'm your captain now.
And just to think about it, in one of the decisions, just think about with 2:18 to go in the game, you're down by 7 points. The onside kick, if you kick the ball deep with 2 timeouts, that field goal that they kicked at the end of the game would have been a punt. And you'd have given the ball back to Ben Roethlisberger with a chance for a touchdown that they got at the end of the game to tie the game.
That was the worst decision of the whole game by Mike Tomlin. The other one was when Ben Roethlisberger on 4th and 1 checked out of a run and threw the pass, was incomplete. Turning point in the game.
You jumped out your seat, Phil.
I did.
And a quick programming note for most of you, the State Farm postgame show will continue. For others, you'll be heading out to Bloomington for NCAA basketball with Northwestern taking on Indiana. Spiriditas and Clark Kellogg. They'll have a call coming up after this. Tonight on CBS begins with 60 Minutes and the American scientist who went inside North Korea's nuclear program. That'll be followed by new episodes of Wisdom of the Crowd, NCIS Los Angeles, and Madam Secretary. That's tonight only on CBS. And a reminder, next Sunday, the NFL Today comes your way at a special time, 2 p.m. Eastern, as we get you set for the AFC Championship game. And it will be the Jacksonville Jaguars facing off against the defending Super Bowl champion New England Patriots with a trip to Super Bowl 52 on the line right here on CBS. And moments ago, it was a jubilant Jaguars locker room.
Excellent job. Let's take care. We enjoy it. Got a lot of work ahead of us. Got a big game next week. All right? We're still playing. Yes, sir.
Make sure my guys have enough for final thoughts.
Well, real quick, you know, at least the Jacksonville Jaguars know what a fullback is. They put him in the game. Tommy Bohannon had some great blocks, caught the touchdown pass. Think about this, though. The New England Patriots against the Jacksonville defense that we saw today. We saw all the plays that Pittsburgh ran against them. Think about all those matchups. It's going to be really, really tough for, I think, Jacksonville to cover all the things that New England's going to throw.
Well, I think they match up really well, Phil. When I look at it, I think about the speed of the linebackers against those backs. I think they can match up with their speed outside. They can get in their face. Does Jalen Ramsey cover Rob Gronkowski? And I'll talk about a running game that's powerful. I'm going to tell you something right now. We'll see about that New England defense. I think it's a great matchup. I think it's a good matchup for Jacksonville going up against New England. And we'll see how these two teams have not played each other this year. It's going to be a great shot.
Yeah, you say it's tough for that Jacksonville Jaguars defense to match up against that Pat. So rightfully so. But I will say this, Tom Brady, he's facing the best defense he's faced all season, and they can fly around. So that nickel and diamond you did to beat the Titans, It's not going to work against the
You know what? It's hard to believe that it's a great defense. They just gave up 5 touchdown passes to Ben Roethlisberger, who, by the way, was awesome today. He was great, and he's not going anywhere. He's not retiring. He's going to be back next year. You know, my initial thought is it's Tom Coughlin, and it's a defensive line. That's exactly what the Giants were to the Patriots in the 2 Super Bowls that they upset them in. So I think that part of the process is there. But, you know, as good as Blake played today and as the key plays that he made, Nathaniel Hackett called some really key plays there, especially in the 4th quarter. This is a really, again, much like for Marcus Mariota last night, it's a really tall order to go into Gillette Stadium and beat Tom Brady and Bill Belichick and that group up there, you know, in an AFC Championship game. It's just going to be really hard.
Here's what's in my head when you talk about all this. The San Francisco 49ers offense, what they did to Jacksonville's defense, and so many plays that I saw them give up today. Then I think of New England's offense, which I think is a step above both of those that we talk about. And so I just see, you know, Bill and I disagree. I just see many matchup problems for Jacksonville.
Well, I'll tell you one thing. No one has played the disrespect card any better than Tom Coughlin and Doug Marrone down there right now, and they're going to play this for one more week as well.
There was a tall order going into Heinz Field. They got it done. Blake Bortles, 23 career wins, going against Tom Brady, who has 26 postseason wins. Basketball is next.